Alright everyone, hopefully you've taken some sufficient time away from your face mesh now, and we're going to go ahead and look at it with fresh eyes now to see what we need to do next, okay? So if I bring in my references again, and let's just focus on the front for now, you can see, and this might not be entirely obvious, but maybe if we go to orthographic it might help a little bit more, okay? One of the issues here, actually, that I didn't realize when I was sculpting it, maybe you caught it, but as we were trying to get the shape right and everything, I actually, if I use the help of a mask line here, Control, Shift, Click and Drag, you can see that the left eye there, the outermost kind of duct and crease is very low. Okay, and now that's one thing there that is a thing that we're going to have to definitely change. So what we're going to do is, let's go over into our lowest subdivision level, because when we make critical changes like this, we want to do it from the lowest subdivision level. And we'll use, actually let's use our move brush. I always feel like I don't give enough love to the general move brush. And so we're just going to have to, rather large size, we're just going to move that up just ever so slightly, just so that it works a little bit more in line with, well, the other side. Then you can see just by moving it up slightly, and this is an orthographic view, you can see there that that's now aligned correctly. Okay, now people's eyes and all that sort of thing, I mean, they're going to be different, and depending upon the photo you're looking at, it's going to be, you know, angled slightly differently. But at the end of the day, we're not trying to create, remember the goal is not to kind of create KT McGrath entirely one-to-one, it's just to kind of give ourselves a bit of a base to start off with. Now we've got four subdivision levels to play with, but truth be told, we're going to be spending a bit more time in subdivision 2 and 3, because when I learned way back in the olden days, I thought, well, we're just going to keep doing all the changes to subdivision 4, that's fine, but actually you do want to come down to lower subdivision levels and make changes lower down first. So one of the things we're going to do now is, I don't know if you notice here, oops, but actually let's make this a little bit bigger. But can we see here, this is something that, you know, you can choose to add in or not. We're not going to be making some major changes anymore now, because I'm kind of happy where the face is at this moment. But the kind of under the nostrils here is a bit flatter than what we've got here. So we're just going to go into the Trim Dynamic brush, it may be a weaker intensity, and just kind of do the same operation there under the nostril area there, just to kind of flatten it out a little bit more. And we are now in the stage of where we are making these sort of minor tweaks now. So yes, we're nearly, well, I'd say we're nearly sort of done in terms of getting the face shape right, but we do have a little bit more of a ways to go when we start getting into the detail aspect of things. Okay, another thing as well which I think is a little bit off is, it looks like that her jaw is quite low down here. You can see she's got quite a low jaw here. Now this is up to you if you want to change it a little bit. Bear in mind that our jaw is a little bit lower because the mouth is open, whereas here her mouth is closed. But at the same time, I do just want to round that out a little bit. So let's go to our tool, or yes, transform, sorry, local symmetry. I'll put symmetry on here, and we'll just kind of smooth that out a little bit, just so it's a little bit less kind of like a boulder on the bottom there. Okay, there we go. Alright, okay. I think for the most part we're pretty much ready to go. So you might be thinking, well, isn't there more detail we can add? Yes, absolutely, there's more detail we can add. But just bear in mind, when it comes to female faces, or at least, you know, younger female faces, in my experience, probably not in more experienced artists' experience, but in my experience, a single line, let me just demonstrate for you here, I get my damn standard brush, can add almost 100 years onto a woman's face. You can see there, for example. Okay, if you want to kind of put in those lines there, you just have to suggest them. If you draw them in like this, you instantly turn her into a grandma. Okay, which if you're making grandmas, that's fine, that's what you want. But if you're making slightly younger women, then you're obviously going to not want that. It's not ideal. Okay, so if you're going to do lines like that, you have to suggest them and almost immediately smooth them away, so that there's just a trace of them, just a slight trace of them there. Okay, and later on we'll look at kind of adding more detail in using some alpha maps. Okay, so I'm just having a look around now, and I think we're virtually, I'm pretty happy with the way it is at the moment. I think what I might do is I might just come in and just highlight this area a bit more, just kind of crease that in a bit more there, make that a bit more pronounced. I could add a bit of detail to her lips here, but quite frankly I'm happy with the shape I've got here. I prefer the lip shape here that I've got compared to what maybe Katie McGrath has here. I quite like the face as it is right now. There's not much I'd change about it. I'm just trying to look at it. Let's go and change to another view. Our side view now. And yeah, side view looks pretty alright. It's okay. I think I've got a little bit of a tip on my nose, whereas Katie McGrath doesn't, so I do like that idea. So with symmetry still on, just going to maybe push that down a little bit. There we go, so there's less of a tip on the nose there. Okay, again, very minor changes, nothing major here. And then I can see my nostrils are quite flat, so I've got to raise them a little bit. Have a little bit of an arch to them, so just ever so slightly, nothing too major again. Okay, a lot of this now is shadow play, so it can be quite confusing to see just what exactly is a detail and what exactly is just light tricking you. Okay, so here as well, I'm just going to add a little bit more depth. So using the inflate brush, I'm going to use the inverse of it just to kind of add a bit more, what can we say, a bit more of a kind of cut there in around the eyes. Okay, you don't want to go too crazy with it, because if you do, you're going to give it quite sunken eyes, which is not what we're after really. So just a little bit there, just to kind of emphasize where the kind of tear ducts kind of start and finish, where the bottom eyelids start and finish essentially. Okay, so just very minor things now. See if you're happy with the size of her cheeks. I'm quite happy with that. I think that's quite nice already. I don't want to change that. Jawline, again, a jawline is something that we need a bit more resolution for, and I think more or less I'm okay with that. Maybe let's try extending the boundary a little bit. Maybe something back here. I've still got symmetry on, by the way, and just pronouncing that a bit more. Okay, and I'm more going to do the inverse actually. Just use the inverse of the standard brush there and just kind of draw that in. Okay, and let's sort of just take the down standard brush, very low intensity, and we'll just kind of help refine that shape a little bit more. But you can see it's quite soft, so we just need to do a little bit of a pronouncement there. And let's take the down standard brush and we'll use the normal function, and we'll just kind of crease the jawline there. Okay, so we just pushed the jaw back a little bit, and the damn standard brush has assisted us immensely with that task. So thank you, damn standard brush. And let's have a look. Let's put it to skin shade 4. Nope, let's put it to something quite visible. Map Sculpty. So we've got quite a lot of shade and shadow under there, but I think that will be okay. I'm just looking at it from the aspect chalk. Yes, perhaps I could just do another small line under there just to pronounce that fold and crease, and then some lines for the neck here. Again, I'm just kind of seeing, kind of penciling it in some areas and details. And okay, let's do an inverse line there, not too strong for the neck. Some there. Okay, that's fine. Now the ears. So the reason why I gave you guys a face base mesh or a head base mesh is because the ears, I mean, no one wants to really deal with ears, right? So I'm not going to cover ears here. I don't much care if the ears are not exactly the same as what Katie McGrath has got here, but obviously you can change them if you like. For me, I'm happy to leave the ears the way they are. It's not a critical component I'm going to lose sleep over personally. So let's have a look at the 3/4 view. And the 3/4 view, again, there's really not much to do here. We've already got the kind of the mouth curl there that I was concerned about, but that's already there. A lot of it is kind of already coming together. Let's see. Again, so it can be, I just point one thing out here. So her eyes, kind of eyelids here look to be a lot more thicker than they appear in our sculpt here. Now, bear in mind that we were working on other angles at the moment. So here she's looking directly at the camera, up at you, but here she's looking a little bit kind of off camera. She's looking lower, so obviously her eyelids are going to droop a little bit lower to allow for that. Okay, so don't kind of be fooled, think, oh gosh, her upper eyelids are quite you know, got quite a bit of space, and I've got very low space on mine here. That's not a case. So, you know, the person is, it's a real person. They're allowed to look in other places, so that will change our reference a little bit. Having said that, however, I do feel like the eyelids are a little bit kind of sausage-like at the moment. And remember, I've got that problem there with this particular eyelid there. So I think what I might do is I might just spend a bit more time kind of masking off the brow there, and I'm just going to work on sort of thinning out the eyelid a little bit more. I'm just going to use the damn standard brush that I've already got equipped. I'm just going to bring in a rather small brush, just going to use the inverse and just highlight a clear defined edge for the upper eyelid there. Can you see that there? Just a bit more of a defined edge there, and don't worry, I can see that that's an issue there, but we'll fix it later. Okay, so just a bit more of a defined edge there. Let's have a look at her front on. So you can see it looks quite low there, really. If you look at it front on. And there's something there, just kind of exaggerating that part of the eyes there. So let's get rid of that mask. So you can see, there you go. That's what the shape looks like there. That's fine. I might just do the same pass here as well. See, just a bit more, just to emphasize the edge of the eyelids there. Okay, and also I'm going off record here, but I think, just looking at that there, I think I would like the, let's use the move brush, sorry. I would like the eye to kind of come out a bit further there, just change the trajectory of it a bit, push that in a bit deeper, because you see this has got a nice curvature here. This part here didn't quite have that same curvature, so I'm just going to move that around a little bit. Let's check the lower eyelids again. Struggling for shade here. Yeah, we could move lights around, but nah. Let's see. Let's go for a colorized. Colorized glow is not very glowy. That's too bright. Flat sketch. That's a bit off-putting. Let's stick with chalk so we can sort of see the contour of the eye there. That's okay. This one I might just move a little bit out further. Okay, so yeah, very kind of fine adjustments. Okay, let's look at everything else. Yes, okay, I think I've got a slightly different nose shape. There seems to be a bit more of a bump on her nose there, so I might just add that in. Bring back local symmetry and just add that in with the inflate brush. Just check to make sure you're not going too far with that effect. Just something subtle. Okay. Don't worry if your skin looks very smooth at the moment. We are using the smooth brush almost after every operation. That's normal for this stage, so don't worry about that. And the other 3/4 view, what can we see here? Yeah, essentially pretty much okay. The only thing I think I would do is we'll kind of turn symmetry off of this, and we'll just kind of deflate some areas here underneath the brow, just to start getting this ready for when we start detailing a few areas here with some alphas. Okay, just get those kind of areas sort of prepped and ready. And again, smoothing out after doing every operation, that's normal at this stage. And yeah, okay. You might be wondering, I'm ignoring the mouth lines here at the moment. Yes, I kinda am. I'm going to see how far we go with the mouth lines there when we actually do some alpha detailing, just because, like I said before, adding in details like that can instantly age a woman by 20 years, which is not what I'm looking to do right now. I think I might just add a bit more volume to her brows there. But that's honestly, guys, that's about it really. I'm quite happy the way it's turned out. I think it looks pretty on point right now. Okay. Alright, so the only other thing that's kind of put me off a little bit is her teeth. Her teeth are a little bit off line, so let's bring them back up. Bring them forward a bit more. There we go. That's a bit better. Okay, so now our teeth are in somewhat of a proper position. Right, okay, well done guys. Go ahead and save that Z tool there. We'll leave the kind of face, quote unquote, I'm using my little quote fingers, sculpting done for now. What we're going to do is we're going to spend some time in our kind of photo editing software of choice. So that could be GIMP, it could be Affinity Photo, it could be Photoshop. I'm going to use Affinity Photo because it's a little bit simpler. And we're actually going to use some actual maps later, and to try and create some of our own custom alphas that will kind of drag out and add some actual paw detail here to the face. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and click over to the next video.